Welcome everybody to the inaugural PIXERF Podcast with our first-time partner, Asian Geographic. We are live at the Images of Asia photo competition, which was held over the past month, and there'll be live judging later at 6 o'clock, and the winners will be announced later on, right? I'm Saud from PIXERF, the tech company that is partnering Asian Geo for this endeavor for the first time. And on my left is the lovely Rachel.
Hi, I'm the editor of Asian Geographic magazines. I'm glad that you're joining us this year on IOA 2018, and we have a wonderful panel of judges who have been with us for the past few months, and some of them are also joining us in this discussion today. So we look forward to hear from them later on.
Yeah, so we have 8 judges joining us today. One more might join us later, so we have to edit him in the video. That'll be Brandon. So on my right is Sal Lavallo. A few words about yourself, Sal.
I'm Sal Lavallo. I'm one of the youngest people to have visited every country in the world.
Every country?
Every single one.
How many?
193 and then
Wow.
some.
Wow.
And I share my photos, mostly travel photos, on Instagram.
So just to be clear, I was told you don't call yourself a photographer, but
I like to say that I don't take pretty photos, I just go pretty places.
okay, nice. That's a nice one. Thank you, Sal. On his left is Manuel Librodo Jr. A few words about yourself.
Yeah, you can call me Manny. I am from the Philippines. I have been taking photos seriously since the late 1990s, but I started quite late in my photography. I started taking photos when I was 40 years old, and my life has never been the same. So I'm here right now.
Okay, nice. Thanks, Manny. John, I'm going to skip you because let's do photographer first.
Sure.
Shavonne Wong, PIXERF ambassador, also a judge, and the only female judge on the panel, actually. Excited to be here?
Yes, I am.
You was by yourself?
My name is Shavonne. I've been a photographer for the last 8 years. I do mainly fashion and commercial work.
Okay, nice and succinct. Great.
Yes.
Next to you is John. John the man. John, the big man of Asian Geo. A few words about yourself, John.
Okay. I'm John, and the Asian Geographic publishers. Asian Geographic around for 19 years. Next year we're going to celebrate 20 years. This Images of Asia photo competition be around 16 years now. Since the day one at Asian Geographic, all the photo competitions are never do a indoor closed door judging. Every competition we do is open for the live judging. Every year that where we do our judgings, everyone can listen, they come and do it, and we do now even better because of social media. We can do a live judging on our social media. People can see it because used to be our photo competition from somewhere that you don't even have a.
Yeah, it's manual, right? They'll mail you
the
photo. Yeah.
So like they always want to know. But it's like we were announced it straight away right after the live judging. So tonight, people watching from Bangladesh, and so like the photographer from everywhere. So we call it Images of Asia. Images must be from Asia, but the photographer from everywhere. So we have a subscription readership of worldwide 48 countries. So followed by, I wish there is a more photographer will be joined.
Yeah, I mean, so PIXERF is happy to be the partner for this year. So we provided you guys a platform where basically submissions can come in. So you've kind of used a tech solution, PIXERF. So the reason we got together was because our missions were quite aligned. PIXERF is all about Asian photography and photography in Asia, and we want to champion the Asian photographer. And also Asian Geo is all about photography as well. So I think it was a marriage made in heaven. Yeah. I'm not going to hard sell PIXERF too much.
I think you already have.
Yeah, I know. Rachel, back to IOA, which we're here today. So how do you want to start the podcast?
First of all, I think I would like to find out a little bit more from the judges. Why are you doing what you are doing now?
So basically, why have you chosen your field of photography, and why do you stick to it?
So I think that now, because so many people are consuming photography in such a mass way, and they're also being shared alongside stories. So I think that all the photos that I have are a memory of mine. There's a story of what's in front of the lens, but also how I was feeling behind the lens, and I think that it's just a medium to share those stories with the photographs, and so I think that it's really interesting. Like now, in order to do that, to get them to read the story, to have the caption, to share your memory, to do that through a photograph, I think is really a great way to kind of to share the travel.
So I'm guessing here that you're pretty big on Instagram, right? I didn't really check that.
Yes.
What is your following? We'll add a little follow him at on his chest later on.
It's, I have like 40,000 now, and they're from all over the world, which is really nice because Singapore is actually one of my top 5.
Really?
Yeah, it's number 5, but it's one of my top 5. It's
Great.
so it's been fun to like.
You had a moment earlier because I saw you talking to a fan for a good 20 minutes. So I was like, wow, Sal's bigger than I thought he was.
No, I think.
She was like, yeah, I follow you all the time. So excited to see you. It's great.
Yeah, well, I think that it's like like you're sharing stories, and
Yeah.
like, I'm so like privileged to have seen so much of the world, and so I think that it would be an injustice not to share that, and then to find the best images to like make people interested in the story, right? And
So if you've been to every country in the world, what's next?
I'm like, I've settled down. I have 2 kittens. I have a job, but I'm still traveling. Like,
I see next year be the moon.
yeah, the moon. I still do like 1 trip a month.
Okay.
So and I've always wanted to travel for a purpose. Like if there's something specific I want to see, or like, like I don't just want to go somewhere for no reason. Like maybe. Like to come here for the images of Asia is like a perfect reason to come to Singapore and see so much and meet some great people.
Okay,
And
so
now I have a reason to go to Philippines again.
yeah. So 136 countries?
193.
193 countries, sorry, math is horrible. If you had to go back with one, just one, which one would it be?
So I live in the UAE in Abu Dhabi, and that's my favorite. And if I had to stay somewhere, I'd be there.
Okay, nice. All right.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned that you are passionate about sharing stories with your viewers. Stories are very powerful, and I think photographs are very important in conveying those stories as well. So I understand that you do a lot of portrait work, a lot of travel also. So how do you arrive at this where you are now, where you focus a lot on taking people and traveling a lot and combining these two to get images that are so powerful and so colorful?
I started off as a travel photographer. Before I got into photography, I was a full-time teacher in Bangkok. And the only time I was looking forward to were my weekends when I can go out and shoot. Usually I go out during summer breaks, during weekends. And eventually with the World Wide Web, I shared my work online, and I was getting a lot of good feedbacks.
This was pre-Instagram, right? Before Instagram?
Pre-Instagram,
Yeah.
pre-Facebook.
Pre-Facebook.
Yeah.
So you had a website?
Yeah, no, there are many sites then wherein you can share work,
Okay.
share your travel photos. So and then I joined competitions, The thing is, some competitions, they want fresh entries. And I'm not out traveling all the time. So I started shooting my students,
Okay.
in the school, And I joined them in competitions, and modesty aside, I won a lot of competitions using my students' photos. And before I know it, a lot of people would like to learn my photography, which is
Okay.
basically something distinct because I haven't learned. I didn't go to school in my photography journey. I just do it all from the heart, And I started to study my own photography, so that I could teach it, So it's a good marriage because I am also a teacher. So before I know it, I don't have weekends. I teach from Monday till Friday. Then I have to do workshops with people flying from all over the world who would like to learn from my photography. And also because of my winnings in a lot of competitions, Scott Kelby in 2009 named me as one of the world's top 5 photographers. And that's a big thing because Scott Kelby, he's a big name in the photography world.
Okay.
And I've done workshops a lot since then. And I eventually let go of my teaching job. And up to now, I'm still doing workshops. And I'm just surprised that wherever I go, people would say, I've done your workshop. Sometimes I could not even remember that. Where and when did they do my workshop? But I think the biggest thing about my photography is that I've inspired so many people. And once you are an inspiration, I think you keep on pushing with your passion.
So I just want to get it straight. So you are basically self-taught, right?
Yes, I am.
You are also basically
I mean,
self-taught, right? You didn't go to school.
I'm not one of the world's top 5.
Shavonne, if I'm not mistaken, is also sort of self-taught.
Yeah.
So I'm getting that photography is something that calls to you. You don't really go and look for it because I mean, it's about passion, right?
It's a
about
passion, yeah.
It's a passion, right? So I think some of the great photographers were all self-taught. They didn't go to school.
Yes.
And this is like very interesting to me that a lot of people are actually going to school for photography. So do you see a change in like in the shift towards now wanting to be part of that industry? Because I think a long time ago there were not a lot of photographers in the world. Sorry, not a lot of photographers compared to now, and everybody has a mobile device, and everybody thinks they basically are a photographer. So how do you instill passion into going to school that they didn't come from the heart? Like all of you guys are self-taught. Yeah.
I think they have to do it often. When you do one thing very often, I think the passion continues. Once you stop, the passion stops.
Yeah, right. You have to like what you do, right?
Yes,
You have to
yes,
like what
yeah.
you do. It's very
I
important.
think there's also a lot of different reasons why people take photographs, and I think a lot of the people who are going to school for photography are interested in like the technical aspects of it and like thinking about like the exact numbers of the lighting and how and then like I'm interested in how can I capture a story to show that, right? Like there's like you were saying, you do like fashion commercial work, like that's about capturing a story for a brand, right? Or like there's different purposes behind it. I think that there's a difference between an artist and a craftsman, right? There's a difference between a photographer who is interested in like the technical aspects of the image and a photographer who's interested in like one of these many other passions that could be around it.
Yeah, I agree with that because I think we could not teach passion.
Yeah, you can't teach passion. That's quite true. We would like to welcome Brendan. How are you?
Hi, Brendan.
Just pause that question quickly. Quick introduction about yourself.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm Brendan O'Shea.
Yeah.
I come from Cork in Ireland, and I work in university. Photography is my hobby,
Yeah.
and I shoot quite a lot with the different cameras. One of them which happens to be iPhone.
Okay, we were just talking about mobile photography, right? Mobile
Yeah.
photography.
I was actually asking everyone, since mobile phones are so common nowadays, everyone has a camera, so anyone can take photographs. So what is your take on what constitutes good photography?
Good photography. I think it depends on the intention that somebody has when they're taking photographs and what they want to convey. I think very often when people take photographs, it's to create memories. And I think a good photograph is a very personal thing. I think that when somebody is doing it, it's that they're trying to create a record of what they felt at a particular time. And I think that it's because it's so subjective, I think that it's very hard to find what makes a good photograph, because for one person, a good photograph, like we were all judging here earlier on, and I'm sure we have very different opinions on the types of photographs. So I don't think it's fair to to kind of put it into a box and say this is what makes a good photograph. It's a personal thing. I think that it's a connection that you're making with the environment and with the the subject matter that you have at that given time.
So can I say that for you, good photography is something that captures the emotion or that mood of that moment?
Yeah, that's fair to say.
All right, thank you, Brendan. Anyone else?
Well, I agree with him. I think like what constitutes good photography has always been the same thing from the start of time when photography started. Like it has never been about the gear. Like what your iPhone now can do is probably way better than what all these professional photographers years ago could use with their cameras. And if they could create good photography, then why shouldn't you be able to do with an iPhone compared to a DSLR, compared to a Phase 1 camera? So it's never been about the camera. It's always been about what you can capture, the emotion, the story behind it. So yeah.
Thanks, Shavonne.
I think like art is just showing like a physical manifestation of a feeling, right, of an emotion or something, and then good art is able to transfer that emotion from the creator of it to the viewer of it. And great art is able to do that to many people. But I think also with photography, I think it's Ai Weiwei once said that you can make my last work, but you can't make my next one. And I think that's really interesting because like you can stand in the same spot and click where I click, but like you don't know where I'm going to go next, right? And I think that's really interesting. Then there's also like the technical question. I think it's interesting with the way camera developing is happening, especially with iPhones, is that there's a difference between trying to do develop a good technical camera, and then what iPhone and some of the mobile devices, they're trying to mimic the eye. And so there's a difference between the way to capture light, the way it can make the camera better than it can be, or to make it match what the eye sees. So that's two approaches to how do you make a good camera.
Because of social media, there are too many good photos online right now, And I think the audience are starting to be very discriminating also nowadays. They're looking for something different. So at this point in time, if you're going to ask me what constitutes a good photo, it should be something different. It should be something that people have not seen yet. Still having the good light, the good emotion, the good everything of the usual photo, but something different.
So from a work perspective, I want to talk about social media a little bit. So Instagram has sort of shaped how brands and companies want photography, or they want photos to be of their brand. So I talked to some photographers who say that the brief that comes from the client is, I want it to be like Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts about what has Instagram done to photography, and should we look beyond Instagram to do better photography? Right? Brandon, yes.
Yeah, I think Instagram has been fantastic for
Yeah.
photography, but I think as a platform at the moment, I think it's quite stale. I think that there's many good photographs out there,
Yeah.
and I think that there's trying to navigate your way through to find where those good photographs are is quite difficult. Instagram was never a sharing platform; it was always a viewing platform. And I think that their intention with Instagram was to maximize the number of people who would come on and
Yeah.
view images. And I think that it contradicts it in a way in terms of why people would get onto it. And I think with the commercialization of it in recent years, and that they're moving more towards brands and celebrities, I think that it's quite a frustrating platform at the moment, to be honest. And trying to see to the future what would come from it, it's kind of hard to predict. I think that that if we go back maybe 10, 12 years ago, Flickr would have been the dominant platform. They were very, very slow to react, and Instagram were able to take over the space. And I imagine that there's somebody out there at the moment, hopefully
Trying to make the next
Yeah.
Instagram, yeah.
yeah. Well, not the next Instagram, something that'll
Surpass it, yeah.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
I think that's a very interesting discussion because nowadays there's so many people who are just going for something that is Instagram worthy, Instagram friendly. So in fact, there are many brands, many individuals who do professional shoots and then they load them up onto Instagram. So do you have any comments on that?
For me, I definitely use Instagram to showcase my work, and I feel like I've definitely gotten more eyes on my work. The only problem when brands use Instagram and they tell me shoot for Instagram is when the budget also goes down for it, although I'm doing the same amount of work that I put in for, let's say, a campaign that's going on a bus or on the website, social media. But when it's only on social media, the budget goes down, but the same amount of work is necessary. So it's a little unfortunate, but it seems like that's where the trend is going, where they're trying to put a lot more of their brands into social media instead of the normal newspaper or the digital prints and stuff.
Yeah, I think you made a good point also, right? So when their budget goes down, they pay less to advertise. They also tend to pay the photographers less. So that's the downside. Yeah.
Payment's a tricky issue when I speak to photographers and brands. There's always horror stories about not getting paid, running away from the second half of payment. Is this prevalent? Do you guys see it more and more, or is this something that I think more companies are getting a bit more tight with their budgets are definitely going down? Like that, I know for photography. I think Shavonne, you can attest to that. So, where do you see this relationship between the value of your photography versus the perceived value of photography? Right? How would you how would you convince the brand that you need to pay for this because this is what you're going to get?
I think it's important to always be doing work that nobody else can.
Yeah.
I mean, if you are doing something that somebody else can, and you're not trying to come up with new work, you're not trying to stay ahead of the trends, you're not trying to, be truly you, then they can always get somebody else cheaper. Then it will make sense for them to do so. Right, but unless you're the only one who can create this sort of mood, you're the only one who can create this sort of look, then they will only have no choice but to hire you. That's the only way you will always be
That
hired.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Speaking about trends, do you have any comments on the current trends on imagery in Asia recently, or around the world for that matter?
Is there any one trend that kind of
Yeah.
stands out to you, photography-wise?
In terms of travel, the farther you travel, the more ahead you are of the group, you know. Yeah, so a lot of photographers in Asia now travel as much as they could, you know, spend so much money traveling and taking photos, and they're not actually getting anything from it. You know, they're not getting any money from their photography. They're just happy, you know. So they just get their name out there.
Okay.
So travel photography is definitely on the rise, right?
Oh yeah, because of the social media, you know, they do ATM at the moment. I'm here now in Iceland, you know, shooting this, you know, and they're getting a lot of feedbacks from people, a lot of likes, you know, and for them, they're just after the likes. Actually, the photos are also good. Yeah.
Well, if you get a good following, you can make money from it.
Oh yeah.
As a photographer.
And that's the reason why they are in Instagram, because they can actually make money from it.
Yeah, definitely. Because I think some of the photographers I know, even they post something to, for example, if a cameraman comes to them and they wanna do something on their Instagram, they get paid. So I think it also works in a great way for them to not only get social credit, but
Yes.
actual money in
Yes.
the same way.
We were saying about how budgets are shrinking and then photographers have problems being paid and so forth. So in terms of this, would you compromise something that is personal to you or something about your photography in order to get a job?
I would say the way for me I would work is the way I have my usual day rate, my usual half day, my usual full day, and I am willing to cut the rate if the job is fun, and if the job's boring, just pay me my full rate, sort of thing. Yeah, and if they pay me my full rate, I'm kind of willing to let me know what you want, I'll shoot whatever you need, and I'll try and put what I can in there. But when we have jobs that come with low budget, but holy crap, I get to shoot in this cool location that I can't get on my own. I'll be yeah, I'm willing to compromise on that. But you have to let me make sure, I have to get something out of it. I want to make sure that the photos that come out of this shoot, I want to be able to use it on my own portfolio. So
Shavonne, your bio says that, I'm quoting from your website, that you tend to work with clients that you can sort of stretch the creative brief. What does that mean? What do you mean by
means
stretch the creative brief?
they give me the brief and I stretch. I don't know, I'll try and
We
see.
can edit that out. Yeah.
For me, I just want to see how much I can put me in there.
Okay.
Creatively, how
Any
can I
examples
improve?
you can talk about?
I can think of one right now. Very small.
We can edit in later.
I think of
Audio,
it.
yeah,
You
we
can
edit
pretend
in
I just
later,
said it. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
alright. Okay. Do you guys see the same thing? So you don't work for brands, do you? I'm
No,
not
I
sure.
actively don't.
But you've been
promote.
approached.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of I feel really. Yeah, I don't work with brands because I don't want to be told what I'm have to do. I also think that because I like to show places that people never go to or that people think really poorly of, there's not that many brands there, so I don't want to change from doing that.
Okay.
If I want to post photos from Chad and Niger and Afghanistan, there's not going to be brands asking me to go shoot a promo there.
Well, yeah.
And so I'd rather just keep putting up those images. One trend though that we were talking about earlier is people love you to be in the image on social media. So some of my best photos no one's ever seen because I know that it won't be well received in social media. I'll put it maybe I'll show my friends or I'll have it in my home or something.
Okay.
But all of my top 30 photos are me standing next to something.
Okay.
Because people want to they don't just want to see it, they want to see you.
You're
there.
in it, yeah. So the authenticity that you're actually there.
But it's kind of having you in the image is the ultimate form of only you can do it, right?
Well,
that's
It's only one style, yeah.
And so you can get like, you know, I always say I'm not going to take the most beautiful photo of Machu Picchu, right? But I can take the most beautiful photo of me at Machu Picchu. Yeah, right? But
Yeah, you're right. I mean,
it's so like,
I can't argue with you there. Yeah.
and so I think that's why people like it, is because they like to feel like connected to the person that's taking it more, and so they want to and they want to see it as like a longer journey. It's the same with like high level fashion modeling, right? Like we don't just want to see a random model anymore. We want to know who they are and like
find out more about them, that kind of thing. Yeah. So just want to pop a question to the two slightly older gentlemen. Are you guys on Instagram?
Yeah.
Really? Because I find some photographers that I work with above us in Asia, they have no social media presence. Do you find social media valuable to you?
Oh yeah. I do workshops and
Yeah.
I book workshops through my social media.
Oh, okay. Nice.
People from all over the world see my work and they would like me to fly in there and teach them photography. So without social media, I'm probably nowhere.
Brandon, do you have an Instagram account?
Yeah, I have Instagram, but I
Do you tweet?
do I tweet? I would be active on Twitter as well. But for me, it's more to engage with friends and kind of the community that I would be involved in there. I think previously Flickr would have been a better platform for me to to get work and to be noticed like that. But with Instagram, it's more to connect on a daily basis, see what friends are posting and sharing like that.
So you're active on Instagram? Daily?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I used to love Facebook albums. Like, remember back when
Facebook
people would look through because like
Oh my
you
god.
can show
Yeah.
2008.
right, but I thought that was like so fun, like
To click the different albums.
well, no,
Yes.
like to create it too, and say, okay, like how, like I remember one time, like my favorite thing I've ever done with photos, which nobody's ever really seen, like maybe 20 of my friends, is like this album I did of this summer where I went all over, and instead of doing like here's this trip and this, I like intermix them so that it would be like the feelings of the trip rather than just like location. And I was like, and I think that's fun. You can't ever put 50 photos up on Instagram. Like it's not the same.
No.
Yeah.
And so like that was, I like the idea of like here's like a bulk of, I guess like it could be like a photo book or something, but there's something about the album that I used to really like.
So discovering like photos in an album is actually quite fun.
Yeah, like
to
saying
think
here's
about.
like,
I still do that.
Really?
I still do that. And in Facebook, they actually have this something that pops up like your picture has been viewed 1.5 million times, you know. I reached at 1.5 million, but then there's a bit of cheating in there because I usually do a workshop, let's say in Abu Dhabi, and then I would put up my pictures from that workshop. And then I asked my participants, like 20 of them, to send me pictures and I would include them in the album also. So it's some sort of my marketing, for my succeeding workshops.
Okay. I think we didn't ask Brennan, why did you choose your chosen field of photography? I think we'll kind of set that at the front.
It's an interesting story to tell.
Which is the chosen field?
Which is your chosen field of photography?
Why did you end up doing this field of photography?
Do you have a field or do you have several?
I would have several.
fields?
It wasn't a conscious decision at any point to get into either street photography or that I would do a lot of abstract blur photography. It's whatever takes my mood at the time,
Okay.
and that I would be very open to experimenting with other forms of photography. And I really wouldn't consider myself to be within one particular field.
Are you self-taught?
Yeah.
So yeah, all four of you are self-taught photographers. Okay, nice.
I like street photography quite a lot. I would be active in street photography communities, and I like the spontaneity of it. I like that you can control it. I like that the connection that you can make, even though you're not making a connection. In terms of when you're doing candid photography, that that you ultimately are making quite a strong connection with the person or people that you are photographing.
Someone told me street photography is like hunting. You sit there and you wait for the right shot.
It can be a combination.
Yeah.
That you can work a location. So if you come across a good lighting condition, just wait for some action, or that you can just keep on the move.
Yeah. Okay.
Whichever.
Street photography is on the rise in Asia. If you had a look at Instagram and the amount of street photographers, and because as we also go from country to country and talk to a lot of photographers, and there is a huge amount of young people who are now street photographers. However, that doesn't translate to commercial work a lot. one of the challenges of street photography. If they just stick to street photography, they don't translate that work into commercial work very, very easily.
I think it depends. Yeah, I think it depends. I feel like one of the other trends that's coming out nowadays is the authenticity. Like they want relatability. They even with commercial work, when it comes to retouching, they want it to be like you want to see some pores. You want to see like this person is actually human, and like it becomes less staged. And sometimes I feel like if you're a street photographer, I've seen brands go to street photographers to get them to do their jobs for them, like to do a shoot for them where it's kind of in the street, they use street people to do a shoot. And when people see those photos, they're like, oh, this is someone I see on the street and this person looks happy. If I use this brand, I will be happy too, sort of thing. So yeah, I think it's not impossible for a street photographer to get jobs from commercial brands.
Okay, all right. Noted.
Yes, and
I think it's like so I live in Abu Dhabi and I travel a lot in other places where photography is like, you can't just, like I could never just take a photo of a stranger on the street.
Oh yeah, cultural differences.
Yeah, and like, and I've been in places where you're not, like if you have a camera, people, so that's like a luxury to me, but I feel really uncomfortable taking photos of like people, like street photography, because I've never really been able to, and I think that's like
There's a little invasion of privacy is what you're saying.
Yeah.
That you think there is that.
Yeah, and like, well, but also like illegal, like you can't take photos.
In Dubai.
In Abu Dhabi, yeah. Like,
Are you comfortable getting your own photograph taken?
huh?
Are you comfortable with having your own photograph taken in a candid situation?
No, also not. And I just, because I think I wonder, like, what is that, like, for? Like, and so I totally get it. So I never take one unless I ask, but sometimes like, when I'm, like, here and I'm like, oh, that's so nice that you could just do, or, like, I have friends, like, who do, like, vlogging in, like, New York, and they can walk up to anybody and, like, ask a question. And I'm like, that would be so nice. Like, I would love to do that, but I...
No, definitely not in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
In some places, I mean, Abu Dhabi is like fine compared to like South Sudan or like if you have a camera, like you can't do it. It's really
Okay. South of Sudan. You've been to South Sudan?
yeah.
Oh, okay, that's a nice place.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Very nice. Sorry, I digressed.
So Sal has brought up one of the challenges that photographers face is cultural differences. So besides that, what other challenges have you faced as a photographer throughout the years?
Yeah, so what I've said, I think the challenge is more on me, within me, like I think I want to be always doing something different, because after a while when your work becomes predictable, people will not look at your work anymore. They just look at it and they said, oh, it's still the same, okay, next, So the challenge is more on me, regardless of the culture, regardless of the place that you are shooting, you need to show something different all the time, You need to be ahead of the game, especially for me who is doing workshops.
Having said that, how do you balance keeping your personal style and also evolving and keep doing something different all the time? How do you balance that?
You are evolving in terms of like probably places that you're shooting, the style, the colors, but you are not staying away from your original self. Like for example, my romance with the light, it has to be always in there. So the basic things that make you have to keep it. And then just add in some garnishment, like, a different culture coming in, shooting, like for me, doing portraits, not just one person, but probably shooting 3 using foreground and background, but still telling the same story or telling a strong story, capturing light within the frame and so on and so forth. Yeah.
So Sal's, you lived in the Middle East for 8 years, Asian, Shavonne's Asian. Brandon, do you see you come to Asia often?
Yeah, very often.
Do you see a difference in photography, let's say in Europe and in Asia? Is there a difference that you see coming in from outside?
In what genre of photography? I think
Commercial,
no,
travel?
I wouldn't say pay that. Maybe not. I don't pay that much attention to it, but I wouldn't be aware of a distinctive style between Asia and in photography that I would be interested in. I wouldn't be able to.
Okay.
See
So it's the same across the board, you think?
In the photography that I would be interested in, and that I would, I wouldn't notice a difference.
All right.
Do you?
I mean, I see differences in different countries. When I go to, let's say, Bangkok, when I go to the Philippines, and I go to Vietnam, there are differences in how they approach photography. There are differences in how they react to, let's say, a foreign photographer coming in.
Okay.
So when I was in Bangkok recently, the Thai photographers sort of stuck to themselves. They don't really mix with the expat photographers that I spoke to, and that's the observation they had. Vietnam is way more open. They mingle with everybody. They're open with new brands coming in. So I see small cultural differences from country to country. Just wondering if you saw like an Asian difference, like an overarching difference.
Well, I think in the, because I traveled quite a bit through Asia, I thought definitely there would be differences in how people react to being photographed. But I think that the photographers that I would communicate with, and that I don't see much a difference in their approach in terms of, let's say, street photography.
Okay.
But definitely, I think maybe like for example, in Korea or in Japan, I think the people react a little bit differently than they would perhaps in Bangkok. In my experience, I think Bangkok is much more receptive. Strangely enough, in Japan, that where they have very, very strict controls over cameras.
Yeah.
In terms of that, if you buy a mobile phone, you can't silence the shutter sound.
Okay.
But even that, I've had experiences, because I shoot a lot on the street in Tokyo and other cities in Japan, and they're very, very responsive, and that even in situations you think that they would be guarded, no problem whatsoever.
Okay.
So I think probably different cultural differences in how people react to it, but I think the intention of the photographers, I wouldn't see much of a difference.
Okay. John, how are you? So, you and I feel the same way. You're from Myanmar, am I right?
Yes.
Yes. So, do you have any experience with photographers in Myanmar? So, kind of curious because, wow,
It doesn't go
that's the end of the podcast.
It doesn't go to
That's the
Myanmar.
yeah. Like we saw quite a few submissions on IOA from I think from Myanmar. Really good,
A lot.
Very good ones.
very very
A
good
lot.
photography.
A lot of photographer there. I'm surprised because of last 3-4 years back, most of the winners from there. I was surprised. So I think I left there about more than 30 years ago.
You came to Singapore.
I'm here for 28 years.
28. Okay,
Yeah,
nice.
So it's a growing in photography. A lot of interest in there. A lot of one of the last time we have one grand prize winner is from there.
Oh,
So
okay.
I was really surprised.
Yeah. So we saw some great submissions. Nice way to segue into talking about IOA.
Yes.
Yeah.
So judges, what are you looking out for in the winning
Just
entries?
a caveat that I will edit this out. Shavonne has not seen. Have you seen some of it, right? You've seen some of it, right?
Not the top 20, but
Yeah,
some of
you've
it.
seen some of it. So just general feedback. What you guys think of this year's submissions?
Different question.
Different question.
Yeah. What are you
Edit.
looking out for in the winning entries?
Oh yeah, what are you looking out for in the
Yes.
winning entries? Sorry, I don't have my notes. Yeah. Let's start with Brendan.
I've just reviewed the different categories. I suppose I'm looking for something which is compelling in terms of composition, and which I'm looking for a connection, which can which would spark me kind of curiosity as to what the photographer was doing when they got the shot, what sparked their own interest in creating this composition. So I'm looking more for like storytelling, evocative, compelling image.
Okay, Siobhan, from what you've seen.
From what I've seen, I think how I'm going to judge is really going to be according to basically what I have not seen before. When I'm going to look at these images, I'm going to see I've seen hills before, I've seen pictures of mountains, I've seen pictures of people standing in the street. What makes this picture so special? There's just so much stuff already out there. There's just so many images out there that my eye has already seen. Why is this image going to be different from any other? So when I'm going to just scroll through, I'm just going to basically see what firstly stops my eye and what really stands out from the image. Because in the end, it's not really about the technicalities of it, but it's about wow, I stopped at this image, why? Sort of thing. So, yeah.
Okay. Manny?
Yeah, a standout picture would be something that connects to the viewer's eye. That would be my eyes, And it's something that tells a lot of story about Asia. Well, that's difficult for wildlife photography, though, because it doesn't tell us about Asia. But then, Yeah, it has to be compelling, as what was said by the fellow judge. But it's more of the connection that I have with the picture. It's quite personal
Okay.
for me.
All right. So.
I think that I was once told that good art is a television, a window, and a mirror. And a television in that you can look at it and see new things each time, that you can look at it for more than 1 second and still be intrigued by it. A window in that it shows you something that you're looking through something into new things, and then a mirror in that it has a reaction to yourself, that you're reflective through it.
You
So
summarize all of our points.
Yeah, basically.
That's
So I think that's like an interesting way to like look at the image and say, can I look at this a lot?
Mhm.
Like, is it teaching me something, and am I having a reaction to it?
Okay.
It's nice.
That's a very nice way to
Yeah,
sum it up.
I like
I wish it was mine. It's not.
Yeah,
I
but
was told that.
it's so good. I like that. Yeah.
John, you've been doing this for 16 years. This IOA.
Yeah.
What do you think of this year's
Oh.
I would
submissions?
say photography competition being more and more. When we start doing that 16 years ago, it's very limited. So like you can see that a lot of just like what you say about social media is coming, and now more and more people are creating a photo competition. So that a bit of it's every industry of some kind of, you can see a little bit of diluted in some way. But I think this year I'm quite happy that it's definitely, I would say, that improving from last year. So I think I'm quite happy on that as well. So, and in terms of judging, I'm always thinking that it's all photographer. I really need another eyes off without a photographer. So this is a very good Sal is get involved in this judging. Either you are not a photographer or you are an art director or creative director, different kind of eyes that is exactly we need it, not just for the technical part.
Yeah.
So I always like to put one judges from not photographic background.
Okay.
So and also I like it this year, first time that we are putting in the mobile category. So I welcome Brendan to do judging on the mobile stuff. So this is as like what we say is like we have to understand the history, but we cannot ignore the future, right? So that I cannot say we don't use Instagram. The trend is going. So like even though in terms of geographic magazines, we don't really feature mobile photography before, but I think that is the thing that is going on that direction. So mobiles are using now more compact camera than mobile.
Yeah.
Mobile phones are selling.
Yeah.
I see the trends of how many million drop by the compact camera. So I think this is the next thing that I want to push it. This is the first time that some entries, and it's quite okay. But some of the entries that I realized that mobile photography, they put up some of the digital, like
Yes,
DSLR
yes,
photographs, like
yeah.
Oh yeah.
the entry. I think they should be a little bit aware of how they put the entry on it. But I also
I
appreciate.
think some of them were just trying their luck. Also a little bit. Yeah.
Find out.
Yeah, but because we're using our platform, you could tell from the exit what what mobile phone
Yeah,
you're using.
that's why I
Yeah,
appreciate
I don't think they will-
the
they-
platforms are really good for us as well. So that's
Yes.
also another way of judging this. Like we used to have a normal digital, like we save it in a hard disk and then we put it up things. So like I think the pixel that they created for us that also we can check. Or you are not using a mobile phone. So even better than some mobile phone, we can even see the brand.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
iPhone, that's like that is a
So
really
this is where I got a hard sell PIXERF. Yes, we did come in as a tech platform, and then it did give you a lot of information in terms of not only the model of the mobile, even if you're talking about other categories, what kind of camera they use, the shutter speed, the f-stop, the location it was taken in. So that information is gold to you guys to help you also kind of see the variety of submissions coming in, where the photos were taken, and helps you track a lot. Because I heard from last year, you guys also got photos in the mail, and you had to.
Photos make what like 5, 10
okay, so photos in the mail.
Email, yes.
Email, for sure, yeah. So all over the place. So yeah, so we helped Asian Geo a lot, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was very helpful.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
I wanted to find out from the judges, what is the craziest thing you've ever done to get your shot? Something
I think I'm
that-
going to start with Sal
Oh,
for this one.
yeah.
Yeah. 193 countries. What's the craziest thing you've done
To get a photo.
to get that
Yes.
photo that you wanted?
I don't. So I'm a little bit afraid of heights, but I always find myself climbing things to get, and then I realize I have to get down. I don't know if it's like it's not like crazy to anybody but me. But like I always am upset at like I always want to get up, and then I like will like one time I was in Libya and I climbed. There was a sunset, and I was like, "Do you have a roof?" And they're like, "What?" And I was like, "There must be a roof." And they're like, "Ah." So we found a ladder. We like, got on like this really rickety thing, and and I got up and I realized I had to go down that rickety thing. And that freaked me out. And what's funny is that was the most afraid that I felt while I was in Libya, was going down the scary ladder.
Okay.
But yeah, probably just trying to get up something.
Okay, nice. Manny?
None really, but when I started to quite have a name in photography, I always wanted to get that one shot that would make me famous, So I'd been traveling so much, I've been traveling all over the place to get that shot, only to realize that the best shot that I took in my lifetime as a photographer was a picture I took in my own backyard, So I think sometimes we look too far ahead or too far the distant without really opening our eyes and what's around us, So
That's great food for thought. Yeah.
Yeah, Shavonne, I see you do some stuff for fashion shoots with animals and models.
Well, it's never been too crazy.
I begin to suspect that you guys have a pretty high threshold for
Yeah,
what's
I think
considered
so.
crazy.
Well, I
This panel
mean-
has very elaborate shots.
yeah, but
a lot of work goes into it.
yeah, sometimes I have to go down the drain to take
Yeah,
a picture, but
that's okay.
it's okay. Yeah, it's part of
I
the
trespassed,
job,
but I don't think that should go on the podcast.
Sorry?
Trespass.
Trespass.
You trespassed?
Well, Singapore there isn't much locations to shoot in, so we gotta trespass to find the nice ones.
You can just say the location, we'll bleep it out.
Oh yeah.
It's the Brunei hostel, I think. Like that was years and years ago.
Brunei Hostel.
Yeah, but I think and they said it was haunted too. So I was like, I was going in scared already, but it was okay. It wasn't that bad. But yeah, the only problem with my shoots is it's a little hard to find locations in Singapore to shoot. And like when you're talking about a fashion shoot, you got like model, makeup, stylists. You can't really shoot and run. So therefore, trespassing.
Okay. Alright. If you don't hear from Shavonne next week, you know why.
You said you would bleep it.
Yeah.
Right?
I say a lot of things. Brendan.
I suppose I don't realise that I've been in scary situations until much later after it. That I react quite quickly to situations when I'm on the street. And there's been a few occasions, like one of the photographs is on exhibition here in Tokyo, that I ran out into the oncoming traffic to get the shot.
Yeah.
And when I got the shot, I realised that I was stranded in the,
Okay.
and trying to get back to.
Glad you're here with us today.
Back to safety.
Yeah.
Difficult. In Bangkok, I one time stood over sleeping a guy who's later people told me that he was a gang member by the tattoos that were on his face,
Right.
and he had a knife in his hand.
Ah, I see.
At the moment, I didn't
You like to live
experience the fear
dangerously?
when I was actually trying to get the shot.
Okay.
Later on, you do kind of reflect and think, I have family back home, and I don't think they'd be too pleased that I've taken my life into my hands that way.
Okay. There's some interesting stories.
Yeah.
I'm amazed though sometimes how people like you might see that shot of that guy and just be like, oh, like easy. And it's like I saw one of my good friends put up this photo and it's like a woman sitting. It was just like perfect colors and like in the subway. And then he's like, yeah, I waited for 5 hours for someone in orange to sit down. And I was like, well, like so that's like not really like a candid shot. Like, but he was like I just knew if someone in orange would sit there, like then it would be perfect. So I waited. I was like, that's like not worth it.
Dedication right there.
And sometimes when you're shooting, the more dangerous the situation is, the better your feeling is as a photographer, right? And sometimes when you're shooting portraits, I'm using a 24-70 and I get closer and closer to my subject without knowing that I'm actually right there in front of him because you're looking through the lens, And he's holding a knife, so he could just do like that to you, I did not.
Sorry, why
realize
was he holding a knife?
He
Just
was
curious.
already holding a knife
Oh,
because
okay,
he was
sorry,
probably, it's probably in a butcher, in a butcher place, yeah. So, oh my God, that tattoo, wow, so good. And then, when you keep on shooting, you feel like you are into it, and that you need that passion to drive out that passion in him too, So you keep getting closer and closer without realizing that
Yes.
you're right there, and he could have killed you right there at the instant. And that's what we've said. In the act of doing it, you're not aware of it.
Yeah.
But then afterwards, you start thinking about what if, but it never happened anyway. So.
God.
That sounds quite crazy. So I think if you guys are wildlife photographers, that would have been pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank God you're not shooting tigers, lions, and things like that.
Wildlife
next thing you know,
photographer usually-
Yeah.
Long lens.
Oh, no way,
Long
no way.
lens.
I know, but they get carried away.
Going closer and
No,
closer.
I
It gets
don't
closer
do
and
that.
closer.
I don't do that with animals. But even models, sometimes with a snake, and I'm so afraid of the snakes, but I actually end up right there, and the snake's tail is right on my. But when I think it's the adrenaline, once the adrenaline kick in, who cares?
Yeah, all good. Yeah. It's all about passion, right? For photography. End of the day, whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. So, are we gonna wrap up?
Yep.
All right. So there's gonna be hopefully a lot of photographers or budding new photographers listening to this podcast. So, any message for anyone who wants to pick up a camera and do what you guys do? If we can start from Brendan. What was the one thing you would say to them to encourage them to just succeed in that field and just do it basically?
To remember, it has to be about fun. If it's not about fun, give it up.
Okay. Nice. Shavonne, agree?
Yeah, and to just pick it up. To actually pick it up
The
and do
camera.
it. Yeah,
Okay.
pick it up and do it.
Okay.
And shoot from the heart. Forget about the technicalities. Capture the moment.
And so don't be afraid to categorize yourself as a photographer or not. You
Okay.
can take good photos without.
Being called a photographer. Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. John, sorry, as the head honcho for Asian Geo. Any last words? The big man.
Oh, thanks for Pixel, thanks for all the judges.
Yeah.
I think looking forward to see the live judging. Myself every year's been excited for who will be a next winner, and that is what we want to create, the future of photography and future photographer as well.
Yeah. So live judging is at 6 to 9:30.
6:30.
6:30 to 9 later. Sorry, I can't edit that out. Thank you, everybody, and it's a wrap.